All right, what's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me, you can hear me. We got Michael Rivera in the house. What's up, sir? We got Mark, we got Martin, we got Jim, we got Annabelle, we got Nick, we got Jorge, we got Alfredo, we got Alex, we got Warren Reed who's driving. Warren, don't crash that car. Sean Spears, V. Andrews. I need to see your beautiful faces. Otherwise, Martini's going to throw you out of this room. All right. If you wear a tie, you get special bonus points. I'm going to send a little AI bot to say hi to you. But turn cameras on. I'm going to take 2 more minutes to make sure cameras on, and then Martini's going to throw everybody out. I had to call this emergency meeting because something big happened over the weekend. Google released a re-released Bard, and it looks like it's better than ChatGPT. How many people have been playing around with AI and playing around with ChatGPT? Raise your hand if you have. Yeah, we got Jorge, Annabelle, Michael. We got Warren as well, Sean Spears. How many people are concerned AI is going to transform everything in this world? Okay. All right, good. Well, I'm going to show you why it is tonight. Okay. I have gone all the way down the rabbit hole on AI since January. I've been speaking with the best of the best in the world and bringing them on my show. Last week, I had not 1, but 2 guests on AI on Friday. I had Max Tegmark from MIT, who wrote the big open letter asking everyone to suspend AI development. Does everybody know that letter? The one that was also signed by Elon Musk, but one that wasn't signed by a bunch of people. And then I had Dr. Ben Goertzel on the call after that. Ben Goertzel is championing something called artificial general intelligence, and we're putting $1 million into his new company. We are very deep in this space. We know what's going on. We're investing in the future because we think that's the only way to change this future. But folks, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm losing sleep over this because the more I learn about AI, the more it scares the hell out of me. Thumbs up if you feel the same way. Anybody here? This is seriously dangerous technology. It can be used for good, but if you look at something similar, like say, I don't know, atomic weapons, these were very dangerous things that could end humanity. But guess what? Atomic weapons can't improve themselves. Is that clear to everybody here? They need humans to improve them. Artificial intelligence can improve itself. It's actually happening right now out there with things called auto GPT. So I'm watching this space very, very carefully. And if I'm not having them on the show, I'm having the most ridiculous DMs with some of the top people in AI on my phone. We're going back and forth, and they're telling me how they really feel about that. And let me just say, they don't say publicly how they really feel. Otherwise, they think everybody would just, hang themselves, okay? So I'm trying to be optimistic. We're trying to invest in the future. And I'll also share you the investment that we're closing this week in what we believe is the OpenAI killer. And I'll tell you how we look at these investments and how we're going to change the future. How does that sound for everybody here? Good? Okay, last chance to turn cameras on. Martini, I think you need to throw some people out who haven't. But please turn cameras on, folks. Martini's going to be tossing people out until we do. I'm going to share this presentation that I just cooked up. If you've got questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to go to questions at the end. I'm going to have to leave. I got some time here, but we have an investment club call after this where we've got a CEO coming to pitch their new blockchain hardware wallet. This is going to be the new next ledger. We think it's actually going to be a huge multiple and everyone's going to make a ton of money. So we got the CEO of that on later today. We've got so many deals right now we're in. It's crazy. We got like 4 or 5 deals we're doing right now, including our AI deal. So we're very busy behind the scenes, but I wanted to take this time and go deep on what I'm seeing as a major transformation of the landscape with Google jumping in. Is everybody ready for this? Okay, cool. Last the camera's on. See, look at these beautiful faces. Eleanor, how dare you ever not turn your camera on? So beautiful. Don, we got Mariana, we got V. Andrews, thank you. Cassius, we got Dorian, we got Sam Peters. All right, come on, that's what I'm talking about. All right, let's do this, folks. I'm going to share my screen here with something I just cooked up now. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see. Well, if you can see that. Can everybody see my screen there? It's got AI wars. Okay, so let's jump into it. This is Google's Bard. It takes on OpenAI's ChatGPT. I want to talk about the ramifications. This just happened on Friday. And I'm going to show you how you can profit from artificial intelligence investing, which is what we're doing right here, right now in this space. We're doing this with our investment club. I'll tell you how we're doing it and how we expect to get massive returns in this space very, very quickly. And again, I'll go into the detail of that. So let's jump into this. First of all, let's look at what's happening here. This is literally what's happening. And look, a week ago, people had counted out Google, right? Put your hands up if you saw Google was failing in this war, right? Their initial attempt at AI, it tanked their stock price. Everyone thought their monopoly on search was going to end and it was going to be over. Not so fast, not so fast, because they re-released Bard and it's now ready to take on OpenAI's ChatGPT, and now they're going head to head. The problem is Google's got a lot of things on OpenAI that they don't have. Google has you on email. It's got web browsing data. Google is the largest search engine in the world, and they own the second largest search engine in the world. Anybody know what company that is? Put your hands up if you know the second largest search engine in the world. It's YouTube, right? Who knew that? Martin, did you guess right there, Martin? Yeah. So they have a lot of data and they connect to a lot of consumers. So right when we're selling them out, they come back and they say, hold on a second. We're going to give you an AI comparable to ChatGPT. We're going to plug it into the internet, and we're going to give you access to all of your sheets and worksheets and slides and email. It's a dangerous combination. Look at what they're doing. First of all, you already see it coming out. 10 things that Bard can't do that Google can do, right? That OpenAI can't. And it goes to a whole range. Part of it is it has live internet access, right? How many people have used ChatGPT and you realize that it cuts off at 2021, right? So when I ask them to tell them about my incredible, amazing race to be mayor of London, ChatGPT is like, what are you talking about? I'm like, how could you not know this amazing part of history that happened in 2021, right? So it didn't know about that. So a lot of things now have changed. Google is connected to the internet, which also makes it a little dangerous, to be honest. So it can do that. Also, it connects to YouTube. It connects to all of your email. It connects to your Google Sheets, your Google Docs, your Google Slides. It can do a ton. It's got tons of plugins as well that it can have direct access to. It can do a bunch of things that ChatGPT can't do, and it's making it very, very dangerous. And one more thing to be very worried about as well, to be honest. Again, you can see it kick off here. This is another article. It's driven. It's heating up with Microsoft. Microsoft thought that with OpenAI that maybe they could have finally put Google in the grave after being second fiddle to that company for the past, let's be honest, almost 20 years. But now it's looking like they can't. What else? We know that Google reportedly overruled the risk assessment to launch Bard AI. Now, I had a long talk with Professor Max Tegmark of MIT on Friday. This is where I went to school. We talked about a lot of things, and he said, Brian, the problem with this race is, even if OpenAI and Google and Tencent and Tesla and Amazon and Apple all know they shouldn't be connecting their AIs to the internet, what do they have to do in their mind? They have to compete, because Google, this means their share price is going to zero unless they take these drastic measures. So this should freak everybody out. Everybody is willing to throw caution to the wind in order to win the economic race. Just put your hands up if that makes sense for everybody here. This is one of the big dangers. And I had a long talk with Max about this. He calls this Moloch. I don't know, has anyone ever heard this concept called Moloch? It's how humans do this race to zero, right? Yeah, it's this creature that forces us to do the wrong thing, right? We are connecting AI to the internet to learn everything about us, to potentially become smarter itself and kill us all. And we're all doing it as fast as we can. Does everyone see this conundrum? Doesn't that seem strange that we would do this, right? Maybe we should take a break, because this could end humanity, right? We've had a good run for 200,000 years. This could literally, it's the one thing that could kill us more than anything in this world. Maybe we should just take a break for 1 year. Imagine, in the grand scheme of time, is a year a long time? Raise your hand if you think it's a long time. Is a decade even a long time? But Google can't even wait a week, right? This is the structure that we built for ourselves, because they're looking at their $1 trillion valuation going to zero. So they're throwing caution to the wind and now connecting to the live internet here. I mean, it's crazy, right? But this is what's happening. Even Sundar Pichai admits it's keeping him up at night, right? This is not what you want to hear. And again, I've gone deep into AI. When you start talking to every single one of these founders, from Sam to Google to Ilya, who's the CTO at OpenAI, to Musk, to anybody out there, they're all scared. You can see it in their eyes. And that's what they're telling you. Imagine what they're thinking behind the scenes. And these people know more about AI than you or I ever will. What does that tell you? We should be very cautious here, but we're not. So this is something we all need to pay attention to. I'm going to share a little video with you soon. Of course, we all know recently, how many people saw this come out? The godfather of AI. Okay, most people agree Jeffrey Hinton is the OG Mac Daddy, as we would say in California, right? This is the guy they all look up to. Okay, all the guys have told me that. I know Dr. Ben Goertzel personally, hanging out with Max Tegbardt last week, speaking to Hugo de Gavis before. We're speaking to all the top guys. They say, look, this is the guy. This is the guy that was pushing neural nets back in the day when everybody else had given up on them. He has left Google because he's worried about the danger ahead. All right. So like this is all kicking off. We know it. Not to mention, White House just had all the big tech bosses there. They summoned Sundar. They summoned Satya Nadella from Microsoft. They summoned Sam Altman. He put a tie on to go to the White House, right? And they were told they have a moral duty to safeguard society. What did Sundar do afterwards? He connected Google to the Bard to the internet. Okay, so they're not listening because they can't. They're economically disincentivized to protect humanity. This is what we're dealing with, folks. What did Goldman Sachs say recently? 300 million full-time jobs are in jeopardy because of AI. And you know Goldman's not telling us the truth, right? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, right? Come on, I used to work in the city of banking. They were my client. They're not going to tell you the truth. 300 million means 900 million. That's a massive amount of jobs, right? This is going to affect all of us in a drastic way. And of course, everybody's saying, should we shut it down, right? And this is being covered everywhere. I'd say most of the public has no idea how dangerous this technology is. Does everyone agree with me here? Most of us have no idea. It reminds me a little bit about like COVID in like Jan 2020. I remember I was in New York City, actually, in Chinatown, filming interviews for London Real. And we were joking about how people were falling over in China, dying, and I was in Chinatown, and it was probably being spread there. We were cracking jokes because we didn't know what it was about to hit us. We didn't know it was about to change the whole world. This is kind of what AI is like. Everyone's playing around with this, and they're making it write emails for them, and they don't realize that it's going to come and potentially transform all of our lives forever. Is that clear, everybody? Yeah? I'll share with you a little bit of video. Next thing, Google's DeepMind CEO, based in Britain, Demis, has now said that AGI, artificial general intelligence, human level intelligence, is a few years away. All the experts are now saying 1 to 2 years away. Mo Gauda, ex-Google ex-chief, said it. Ben Goertzel has pretty much told me that. DeepMind has said that. That's scary. Yuval Harari says when we have artificial general intelligence, that's the end of human history. This is what he said on Friday at a lecture. All right, so we need to pay attention. I did a survey on Twitter the other day. Do you think AGI will happen in 1 to 3 years? Most people said 40%. It's hard for me to explain how serious this is, folks. My son Caden turns 7 years old next week. By the time he's 17, AI will be everywhere. His teenage years will be nothing like any other human in history. How many people agree with that, by the way? Probably. You really should think about this. So again, it's happening now. I want to play this video for you because I just had him on the show. We haven't even released this to the public. This is Hugo de Gavis. He's an AI scientist. He was best friends with Dr. Ben Goertzel for a long time. He's been working on AI for 30 or 40 years. And he asked this question, do we create our exterminators? That's what he's talking about with AI. He's written a book called The Art-elect War, where he sees two separate groups of humans coming in the future. One wants to build AI, one wants to save humanity, and they get into a war which causes 1 billion deaths. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just telling you what he said, all right? Let me play for you the trailer from his episode. We haven't even released this to the public yet. I'm not trying to scare everybody. I'm actually optimistic, and I'll show you why. But I want you to be aware of what the smart people are saying out there. All right, Martini, you haven't even seen this trailer. All right, so I'm dropping this on everybody. Here we go. This is what Hugo said to me.
Do we build gods, or do we build our potential exterminators? I mean, I used to say, I'm going to die quietly in my bed, but my grandchildren will be caught up in this horrible conflict that I'm predicting is coming. But now I'm suddenly have question marks. God, I might even see it.
You say that the machines might just take us out in the back and...
Once it can start redesigning itself, you get an exponential explosion of intelligence. And then our fate as human beings depends on the machine. It's only a question of time before humanity is forced to choose between stopping development in artificial intelligence. I don't see that as realistic. or we just accept the idea that sooner or later, we, as a human species, we become number two. The answer to that is, as I'm predicting, war.
Do you think China is behind the West right now for AI?
The potential of the Chinese is phenomenal. The Chinese, they've been the dominant power for not just centuries, but for millennia. The last 2 centuries or so, when they're economically dipped, that for them, given their 5,000-year history, is a glitch. It's a historical glitch. So deep down in the Chinese mentality is the push to get back, quote, where we belong.
So can you really isolate and stop the development of AI?
Personally, I feel it's inevitable. Do we build gods or do we build our potential exterminators? That's the issue. Should humanity build architects?
What do you think of the professor? Come on, do you like him a little bit? Thumbs up if you do, thumbs down if he just made you have bad dreams tonight. Okay, maybe. All right. Look, the reason I like him is because he thought about this for a long time and he's talked about this future. He also did not see it coming this fast. This is something I'm hearing more and more with these scientists. Jeffrey Hinton, right? This guy's the OG in AI. He's shocked by how fast this happened. Hugo de Gavis, shocked by how fast this happened. Dr. Ben Goertzel, who we're investing in, shocked by how fast this happened. This snuck up on this whole community, and this community knew what was going on. From here, it's exponential. We all have to be really aware of what's happening. And I don't think we've gotten realistic about how fast this can move. And if we're not all very proactive, we won't be able to change the future. But I think we can. And I'm going to show you why we're optimistic. So let me continue. Just wanted to hit you with some content there that only we can provide here at London Real. The full episode will be dropping, I think, tomorrow with him. It's really fascinating stuff. So today I want to talk about this. We know that Google's Bard is taking on OpenAI's ChatGPT. What does it mean? It means AI is going to be accelerating. What does that mean for us? We're going to have to get used to this reality really, really fast. And then what I want to do is I want to show you how you can invest and profit in AI. This is also going to change the course of the future to where we can empower the AIs that aren't going to destroy us. That's really what I'm here for. And again, I am a pretty reasonable person that's thought deeply about this, and I think this is the only way forward, and I'm going to show you why. Again, if you disagree, please let me know in the comments. I really want a healthy discussion when it comes to this. Also, we are currently investing over $3 million in the technology we believe is going to change the future. So we're not someone that's sitting on the sidelines. We are literally about to cut $1 million check to one of these companies. I'll show you the company. I'll show you why we're doing it. And I'll show you why we think it can take over what OpenAI is doing. And that includes Google Bard. And this is important. This is how we think we can change the future. Again, we're doing it because we have something called London Real Ventures. This is the world's first media-powered investment firm. We can actually invest in companies and give them the media they need to get customers and traction and cut through. And that's what London Real can provide. There's nobody doing this in the world. We are the first of its kind. And that's why we are seeing top tier 1 deal flow coming to us right now. We are so busy with deals, it's not even funny in the background. And Martini can attest to that. We have so many of our members that are investing in these protocols, and we think now is the time to create generational wealth. These are the companies we've invested in so far. There's going to be another 5 of these probably in the next month with deals that are cutting right now. We're dropping a press release tomorrow on our latest investment. So this is happening. We'll show you what's happening behind the scenes. And of course, I'll show you the OpenAI killer deal. And I'm going to move pretty fast because I know Martini's looking at the clock because our investment club call is going to start kind of near the next hour. So let me think about this statement. I want you all to think about this deeply and consider this. I believe the greatest way to predict the future is to create it. So let me say that again. The greatest way to predict the future is to create it. Raise your hand if you agree with me, right? I'm not going to stick my head in the sand like an ostrich. Is that what does that? I'm not going to sit around and listen to Hugo and say, oh my God, this is terrible, and go get a bottle of vodka. I don't do that anymore. All right. I'm going to create the future. That's what we're going to do here. And we found the ways to do it. I'm having the best of the best on London Real to talk about AI. We've got a community that are investing in these companies, and I'm going to show you what we're doing. And again, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because of these 2 munchkins. All right. Whenever I got to worry if I'm working hard enough, I think about their future. And I think about these 2 boys. They're about to turn 6 and 7 years old. The cat's about to turn 10 for all I know. I'm no spring chicken. I'm turning 52 this week. Right. But this is my why, right? I want to change the future so they can live in a world that's not dominated by machines. And I believe that's actually going to happen unless we do something about it. All right. So that's what I plan on doing. Let's jump into this. This is Mo Gauda. He's become a good friend of mine. We DM back and forth. We're sending voicemails back and forth because he's a former Google X Chief Business Development Officer. He was on the cutting edge of artificial intelligence development. He's the author of a book called Scary Smart, which is the future of AI. And this is a quote he said to me. He said, Brian, Google is creating God. This is what we're dealing with, folks. He quit Google 5 years ago because he didn't like what he was seeing. He decided to focus on happiness. He wrote a book called Solve for Happy, and he came to London Mill Studios about 5 years ago, actually. Now I had him back on recently to talk about this book, Scary Smart, and I got to play this video for you because I think what Mo is talking about is really important. I'm very closely in touch with him behind the scenes because I think he's got an idea of what's happening in the future. I want to quickly play for you his trailer because I think you need to see what he's thinking. So pay attention. This is very short.
AI has already happened.